Let's get right to Florida. Let's take a look at the scene in Clearwater, Florida this morning. Just moments ago, the rescue efforts underway after Hurricane Milton hit. It hit hard, and we're learning a lot more this morning.
George, they are getting pummeled. It made landfall as a major Category 3 storm in Siesta Key. Heavy rain from Milton sparked flash flood emergencies for a Tampa Bay area, and the powerful winds brought down this crane you're looking at in St. Petersburg right onto a building.
And this storm that has been felt across the entire state. A swarm of twisters also tore through. At least 36 reported. We're going to take a look at Wellington, which is on Florida's east coast, and get just a glimpse of the tornado damage there.
Some of the tornadoes have turned deadly. We're still gathering all the information as dawn breaks there in Florida. 3 million people without power, nearly 2,000 flights canceled. We have teams in place all over the region. We begin with World News Tonight anchor David Muir in Tampa. Good morning, David.
Good morning, George. And as you rightly point out, that is the image of the morning. The search and rescue teams now going out, beginning their work. The hard work now begins with daybreak here as we get a portrait of the damage, the destruction from Hurricane Milton, which came crashing ashore last night. A Category 3 hurricane winds more than 100 miles per hour. And the force of this, as you saw there, the crane crashing onto a building, the roof ripped right off of Tropicana Field. More than 3 million people this morning without power.
Overnight, a ferocious Hurricane Milton making landfall along the west coast of Florida. Slamming ashore in Sarasota County late last night as a Category 3, powerful winds up to 120 miles per hour, uprooting trees, knocking over light poles and power lines. Watch as this transformer explodes. Oh, there it was! Sending sparks flying. More than 3 million people are without power here in Florida this morning. That major storm surge so many feared, barreling down the streets of Sarasota.
It was insane. Nothing like I've ever seen before.
Parts of Venice, Florida, turning into an extension of the sea. Boats in this marina rocking precariously against the violent wind gusts.
Oh, the boat broke out.
Floodwaters rising inside this home. In St. Petersburg, the strong winds causing this crane to collapse onto a building. Bricks from that structure and a mangled piece of the crane lying across the street. The violent 101-mile-per-hour wind gusts also ripping off part of the roof of the Tropicana Field, home of the Tampa Bay Rays. The inside of the field could be seen against the night sky. It was originally meant to be the staging area for hundreds of National Guardsmen before the storm. Those guardsmen moving inland before Milton made landfall, the storm ripping the panels off that roof. Bands of wind and rain ripping into Tampa overnight.
This is bad. I've never seen, for all 37 years being in Tampa, I've never seen like this something.
We were live on the air here in Tampa as Milton roared in.
I can tell you the winds have been extraordinary here. The rain coming in sideways. You can see it blowing here behind us.
In Fort Myers, waves crashing above the storm walls. Officials saying around 31,000 people are staying in the nearly 150 shelters across the region. Bradenton's mayor had given dire advice for those waiting out the storm in their homes.
Write your name on your arm so we can identify you. We're all talking the same way.
The wind is just whipping. The rain is just constant. It's water coming in through the windows. You know, the doors are rattling. It's getting pretty rough out there.
Dr. Megan Martin, sheltering and working at a hospital in St. Petersburg, expecting daybreak will bring more people in need.
As soon as the weather gets better, we will start to see patients really start to pick up. We'll start to see people with falls, with lacerations, with bruises, with broken bones, people moving things around, stepping on nails, just with all of the debris and people trying to help, fix their homes up.
We got a tornado in front of us.
This hurricane causing havoc well before it made landfall, spawning at least 36 reported tornadoes across southern Florida. Sail drones in the Gulf of Mexico measuring waves more than 28 feet as Milton barreled toward the coast. Hurricane hunters from NOAA flying into the eye of the hurricane before it descended upon the state, telling me they've never seen anything like this before.
I know you've flown through several hurricanes now over the course of many years. How do you compare this one?
This is the craziest storm that I've ever flown inside of, hands down. Multiple missions in a row with the worst turbulence I've ever seen, the most lightning, the deepest convection, and the breadth of the storm, the reach it has is incredible, as well as the power behind it.
This morning, officials here who were prepared are now focused on the search and rescue and recovery ahead.
That is certainly where the efforts here turn next. You know, one of the things that Ginger had told us to be prepared for before this hurricane were the chance of tornadoes, and we saw that here across the region. As I mentioned there, 36 reported tornadoes. That number is expected to grow. It's believed they have been deadly, but we saw images of these tornadoes ripping through neighborhoods, everything suddenly turning dark. This was even before the hurricane hit. One tornado seen ripping right across I-75. Just a short time ago, the mayor of Tampa here urging everyone to stay inside. Those who did stay here to ride out the hurricane, she asked that they do not leave their homes, do not venture out into your neighborhoods until authorities can go through and survey the damage to make sure those power lines aren't a real danger to the people here. But overall, when you see the images of all of the people who are in those shelters, Michael, it shows that they took this hurricane very seriously, particularly because it came just days after Hurricane Helene here.
Yeah, they should have, David, and glad that they did. Thank you so much for that.